Hello and welcome to this edition of the Western New York Family Magazine podcast for June 2026. I'm your host, Paul Klein, owner and publisher of Western New York Family Magazine. Coming up in this episode, access to childcare is one of the top barriers keeping people from re-entering the workforce. But two programs from New York State could help local parents and businesses. We'll talk to our friends at Child Care Resource Network about those. And start your engines. We're heading to the Niagara Power Vista for a preview of their annual Touch-A-Truck and Family Safety Fair. But first, summer camp season has arrived, and if you're looking for an unforgettable experience for your child, Camp Turner is just the place for them. Joining me now is John Mann, Camp Director of Camp Turner. Welcome, John.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us today. Now, I understand that you have quite a history with Camp Turner. Tell us about your involvement. I understand you started as a camper, and you're now the camp director.
I was a camper when I was a child, and I, camped for several years and became a CIT. And from CIT, I moved on to be a staff member for many years. And then much later on in 2003, I came back as the director. None of that really matters now, though. All that matters is summer 2026, and that's where all of our attention is focused.
Now, tell us, who is Camp Turner geared for, and where do the campers typically come from?
Camp is for the campers, and our campers range in age from 8 to 16 years. We take both boys and girls. To come to camp, you need to be able to perform self-care. Take care of your own bathroom and toileting and personal hygiene needs. Mm-hmm. And you need to be able to speak up if something is bothering you. So if somebody can speak up and take care of themselves, they're welcome to come to camp. Nothing else matters to us.
Now, I understand that as of 2021, Camp Turner is no longer part of the Diocese of Buffalo. Is that correct?
Oh, that's true. That was a rough year. Camp Turner was almost no more. And we scrambled to look for a sponsor to take Camp Turner under its wing. And through the grace of God, OLV Charities appeared and has not only taken on the camp, but has made considerable investments into improving the program and the facility. So much investment has been made in the last 5 years, and things are starting to look really nice down there.
Now, you're located in the beautiful Allegheny State Park. What makes that a perfect location for Camp Turner?
Well, first of all, shout out to Park Administration. Our landlords there take such good care of us and take such good care of the park. People from Western New York know that it's over 60,000 acres of pristine wilderness. There's 2 lakes, and there's hiking trails. There's just opportunities to do outdoor living skills and nature, and we take advantage of those. We have progressive awards programs that kids learn about the flora and fauna at camp, and they learn about, how to build a campfire and axe and knife safety and knots and all the cool Boy Scout stuff we did as kids,
Really beautiful location and such a great place for them to really connect with nature. So give us an idea of what a typical day in the life of a camper at Camp Turner looks like.
Wake up is shortly after 7 a.m. and, the counselors go with the kids to the shower house and get ready for the day. At 7:45, we meet in the circle for flag raising and morning prayer. After that, we head to breakfast. All of our meals are all you can eat, and there's always choices if you don't like the main thing we're offering. Every meal would include a cereal bar. Lunch and dinner would include a salad bar, a rice bowl, a noodle bowl, and sandwiches if you want. That's all if you don't like our main offerings. So the meals work like that. After breakfast, there's 2 club periods. And after lunch, there's 2 more with a siesta in between the afternoon ones. And so during these club periods, we come together in the circle. 7 or 8 or 9 different counselors announce what clubs they're running, and then campers disperse with their counselors to go to those clubs for 75 minutes. Everybody is supervised all the time. There's no, it's not like the movies where people are sneaking off to the beach and, things like that, Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. It's real life supervision all the time by the staff who care about them.
And I understand you also work in some additional outings to places like the Erie County Fair or the Wyoming County Fair, I believe.
Yeah, kids who have been with us a few years, kids who are 13 and up, can choose to sign up for additional trips. We go to the high ropes course at Holiday Valley, Sky High Adventure Park it's called, and the fair has become very popular. Kids like to go to the fair. And then we do have a backpacking trip for our oldest campers if they sign up for the Explorers program. That's a 4-day, 3-night backpacking trip through the Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania.
Now, what are some of the other activities and offerings that you have right at the camp?
Oh boy, there's so much. Arts and crafts, yoga, drama, music, dance, archery, biking, mountain biking, a little bit trail riding, horse corral. There's all kinds of things at the horse corral, from grooming and bridling and saddling to riding skills. You don't even have to want to ride to go to the horse corral. Just pet a horse and have a good time. You know, there's the nature study I talked about. There's dodgeball, 9 square in the air, basketball, volleyball, hiking. If it belongs in a traditional summer camp, we probably do it.
All wonderful ways for the kids to really just unplug from the digital world and to bond together as children and get out there in the outdoors and in nature.
Yeah, unplugged is a big thing for parents nowadays. You read these books about dopamine addiction and how the cell phones feed into that artificial production of dopamine and how we're just all addicted to that initial rush of pleasure when you get that notification.
Right.
And the pleasure doesn't come from reading what came up. No, it came from the anticipation with that notification. And kids are just so wired in and addicted to that. And they come to camp and it's like a neurological reset. Now, the kids don't love it at first. The parents do, and the kids are like, without my cell phone for a week. But as the week goes on, they get used to getting their pleasure out of activity and real childhood things and relationships.
One-on-one interaction that they're not getting on
Right.
that digital device.
Right. Yeah, it's real social development, and it's not the artificial stuff.
Right. Now, I understand that you have international counselors at the camp. How does that influence the campers?
So the campers as children, are way ahead of us as adults. They already understand that building bridges is much more important than building walls. And so when we build bridges and we experience the cultures of other places, we see that humanity is one. And the astronauts that just came back from their trip around the moon emphasized how one humanity is, and they don't see any of these borders or boundaries from outer space. And that's the direction our youth are going to take us in, and I just want to facilitate that as best I can.
That's a very beautiful philosophy and such an important lesson for them to learn. Now, talk to me about the attendance at camp the last few years. I hear you've had impressive increases in the number of campers attending.
Well, impressive is in the eye of the beholder, but we have had slow, steady growth every year since COVID. And even before that, from 2013 on, while many other things were shrinking in Western New York, we kept up with the steady growth. And right now, I think last year we did reach a high water mark, and we're hoping to match that again at least this year.
And if a parent is out there looking for a camp to send their child to, why should they consider Camp Turner?
For a little while there, maybe a decade and a half, specialty camps and sports camps became all the rage, and traditional camps like this were in decline in a lot of places. But since COVID, I think people realized that developing basketball skills or soccer skills is not really the point. They realized the pause in social development and emotional development and just general human development that was caused by COVID, and how everybody was stuck inside and they didn't get that. Well, these are the values, these are the benefits that traditional overnight summer camping has had for a long time. And I think that the break caused parents to realize that those are actually valuable. And so there's been a resurgence now in traditional summer camps. And parents are appreciating the kind of whole person development that we do.
And Camp Turner obviously had a very profound influence on you if you started as a camper and now you're carrying on that tradition for future generations, and that is a wonderful thing.
Well, I enjoy doing it, and my favorite part of the job is seeing my staff members come from being campers to staff and then aging out and growing up and doing good in the world. And so when they finally age out, their last day of their last summer, I tell them, I hope you do well, but I really expect you'll go out there and do good. And and they are. Many of my former staff are doing just amazing jobs and doing good in the world.
And you were speaking of staff. I understand you still have some openings on your staff for this year. Is that correct?
There are. I need one more cook for the summer, and that cook would be responsible for front of the house management. And I also need one more nurse for session F. That's like August 10 to 15. I need 2 more female counselors and 2 more male counselors. You guys know anybody 18 and up that's great with kids and loves the outdoors and willing to share of themselves and take good care of children? I could use them.
And where can our listeners find more information about Camp Turner and register?
Our website, www.campturner.org. There are lots of resources there. There's an employment tab where they can find the application and information about employment. If parents go there, there's a summer camp tab, and they could read our parent handbook, which is 20 pages of the questions you never thought to ask about summer camp. and invariably, people call me up and they ask me questions, and I answer their questions, and I tell them to go read the parent handbook. Then they call me up with more questions. But it's good because, the more information a parent can have, the better choice they're going to make on which summer camp to choose.
Absolutely. John Mann, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Up next, childcare challenges don't just affect families, they affect the workforce as well. We'll tell you about a New York State program that aims to help both parents and businesses when we return. Did you know that in 2022, nearly 92,000 New York parents were forced to work part-time due to childcare concerns? Access to childcare is one of the top barriers preventing parents from re-entering the workforce, which affects our overall economy. But 2 programs from New York State could help both families and businesses. Here to tell us about them is Susan Gawley, Director of Business Services and Childcare Supply at Childcare Resource Network. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you, Paul. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, talk to us a bit about the current landscape of childcare in New York. What are the biggest challenges that parents and childcare providers face?
Well, parents are struggling right now, Paul, to find open slots. Childcare is expensive. And for parents across New York State, securing childcare has transformed from being just a stressful chore into a significant barrier to workforce participation. So to help pay for childcare, the Child Care Assistance Program, or what we call CCAP eligibility, has been expanded to 85% the state median income and slashing family copays. But on this, the other hand, that very expansion has triggered an unprecedented surge in demand, and it's kind of collided in this strained infrastructure. So new applicants right now in New York State are being placed on a waiting list.
Wow.
And that, funds are not yet secured. We're waiting for the governor's budget to pass. And in the meantime, we are encouraging parents who are eligible at that 85% of state median income or below to please continue to apply for CCAP and to get on that waiting list. Another issue we're seeing is that infant and toddler slots are particularly difficult to secure right now and can rival college tuition for the cost. Right now, a full-time infant is approximately $1,500 a month in childcare costs.
That's an astounding number.
And it's like college tuition. It's like a mortgage payment. And that has resulted in mostly women reducing their work hours or leaving the workforce altogether. Women are currently participating in the labor force at the lowest rate since entering into meaningful numbers since the 1970s. And in the spring of 2020, we all know what happened then.
Yes, we do.
3.5 million mothers left their jobs, driving the labor force participation rate for working moms from about 70% down to 55%. And that number really hasn't recovered. And that's affecting the workforce. That's a commerce issue. That's employers not able to fill positions. When provided with appropriate family supports, we find that women will re-engage and enter the workforce, but family care is still their biggest barrier. Only 2% of men report family care as being a barrier, while 40% of disengaged women report that's the reason they're not going back to work. That's the reason they're not participating in workforce. And if you look at the provider side, they're operating on razor-thin margins. They're caught in a market failure where they cannot afford to charge less for their services, but parents can't afford to pay more. So there's the dichotomy of that. The greatest challenge is recruiting and retaining childcare staff, another huge barrier for providers. And as you know, wages for childcare providers sit below the state median wage. So an investment in the early childhood profession, that's something that's going to be necessary in order to start to address these issues behind the crisis in childcare in New York State right now.
Now, historically, childcare has been viewed as a personal family matter. And we touched on this a little bit already. It really is an economic driver. Tell me about the Business Navigator program and how it's sort of reshaping the conversation about childcare in the business community.
Well, I like to say that we all depend on someone who depends on childcare. And we're getting the message out here at Child Care Resource Network. We're getting the message out to employers around the reality of childcare as workforce infrastructure. Let me repeat, childcare is workforce infrastructure. It's just like a road or a bridge or a highway. Without that in place, you're not going to have a strong workforce. The Business Navigator Toolkit project, this is an employer's guide to childcare solutions, developed along with the Early Care and Learning Council and the Office of Child and Family Services. 10 childcare resource centers were chosen to develop and implement this guide to employers starting back in 2024 when we developed the program, and then we actually launched it in January of 2025. CCRCs are your subject matter experts. We here at Child Care Resource Network are the ones providing direct assistance and support to these parents, child care providers, and employers in your communities. And that's been my focus as Director of Business Services,
Right.
is really, going out to these employers. And at its core, this Business Navigator project is a comprehensive 56-page interactive toolkit, and it's designed to turn business leaders, human resources teams, and owners into childcare champions. Can you just imagine the morale of an employee knowing that their employer actually cares about this? I mean, that's huge.
That would be a big load off of their shoulders, and knowing that they have the support of their employers.
And we find that it does reduce turnover, absenteeism, keeping that trained talent on the job, rather than forcing parents, disproportionately women, to scale back hours or just leave the workforce entirely. It boosts productivity. They know their child is in a quality program, that the child is safe, and it attracts top talent for the business, positioning the company as an employer of choice in an incredibly competitive labor market. It's not enough anymore just to have a great logo and a great brand and offer a 401k. Childcare needs to be part of the conversation.
Right. And when we're not talking about the employers going and creating a child care center on their premises, the Business Navigator program provides simple solutions and strategies that the employers can implement. What are some of those strategies that would be a win-win for both the employers and the employees?
We do look at on-site childcare as being a gold standard, but that's can sometimes be impractical, or if they run a small business, they wouldn't have the resources to do that. But childcare is not a one-size-fits-all proposition, and we never really assume the full spectrum of what an employee really needs. So the Business Navigator Toolkit includes an employee survey, and we think that's a great jumping off point for employers to actually get some information and some data on what stressors are around childcare with their staff. And here at Child Care Resource Network, our team is here to help you craft that employee survey, look at the results, potentially sit down and have a focus group, and get the answers you need as an employer to make an informed decision. So we want you to maximize impact with this data. And there's other quick fixes, Paul, like, do you offer a dependent care account? Do you offer a flexible schedule? Here at Child Care Resource Network, for our employees, we offer Babies at Work, where mom can bring baby in up until they're mobile as an infant and still work. And we love that here because we take turns passing baby around when mom has a meeting.
Everybody gets their baby fix.
100%. So, we want to connect employers with our resources, with referrals. We can come out and do on-site presentations to the staff, a choosing childcare presentation, looking at different modalities of care, from in-home care to daycare center to school-age care. And we'll get you the answers that you need. Onboarding materials, employee resource fairs. We will go out and do, like the wellness committee at a law firm, for example, has recently approached us about coming out and attending one of their wellness fairs to give the employees information on childcare. We can become your concierge childcare service team. And we want all employers in Buffalo to become, in Western New York, become a childcare champion. It'll increase your workforce and the morale will be very high.
Now, Buffalo has been selected to be part of a new pilot program that could really be a game changer when it comes to making childcare affordable. Talk to us a bit about the Empire State Child Care Share pilot program.
Yes, this is going to be fantastic. And many states are taking a look at this TRI-Share program between the businesses, the employers, and the state. The Empire State Child Care Share program is a public-private partnership aimed at enhancing child care for families, the employers and providers, by sharing the cost among all three. This is a pilot program in the Buffalo, Erie County, Western New York area. 2 hubs are located in New York State right now for this pilot program, us at Child Care Resource Network being one of them, and the Capital District being the second location. Other states like North Carolina, Michigan, they've adopted this TRI-Share model with some success. And New York State wants to take a strong look at this in order to increase workforce solutions. So the cost would be split based off market rate among the employer a third, family a third, and a state the third, based off the market rate of their child. Employers contribute as part of an employee benefit, and that's going to really attract, retain staff and talent while supporting working families in your community. Families pay only a small portion of the actual child care expenses, so that's a huge benefit. It's going to cut their expense down to about 33% of what they're paying now. And
that's pretty significant.
It is significant, and it's actually life-changing. The state of New York promotes greater access to child care for working families throughout the state using this program. If it is successful, Paul, could it go statewide? That's what we're looking at now.
What are some of the positive impacts that this type of model can provide?
Right away, I think about talent acquisition and retention for a employer to be able to attract more applicants, keep the current employees they have so that when children come into their lives, they don't leave. Childcare is a key work obstacle. It can be a barrier to employment. So taking this as a way to help increase the cost and help with the cost is going to be huge. Increased productivity would be another great positive impact. Reduce your absenteeism and turnover, lowering costs related to lost productivity and overtime. And you're supporting families, you're supporting your employee. You're demonstrating a strong commitment to a work-life balance, and that can be huge. It gives you a competitive edge as an employer, sets a company apart in a competitive job market. Who wouldn't want to work there if you're actually helping them to pay for some of their childcare costs? And it's investment in our community. It positions the business as a community partner dedicated to local workforce stability. And I can see that being a huge benefit.
It really does sound like it's a winning formula for everybody involved, from the parents to the businesses and for the childcare provider as well.
Absolutely.
And how can local families and businesses take action?
Well, in order to be eligible, you have to have a household income between 85 and 100% of New York State median income. So this would be for the population just above that CCAP or Child Care Assistance Program through the Department of Social Services. So it's that middle management person. having an income level where they're making good money, but still childcare is very, very expensive. So again, their income would need to be household income. Say mom and dad are both working and have one or two children and make about $120,000 a year, they would fall into this category. Qualified employees would also have to be employed by a participating employer located in the Western New York area, and they would need to use regulated childcare. This would include licensed and registered New York State programs. We can provide that list based off the area of where they live or where they work. We're happy to participate and help with that.
And where can listeners get more information about these programs?
Well, please contact us here at Child Care Resource Network. We fully expect the Empire State Share program to go live this summer. It is, the wheels are turning now. So please contact me, Susan Gawley, and my phone number is 716-877-6666. You can reach me at extension 3082. Feel free to reach out with any questions, whether you're a family, a provider, or an employer. We're happy to answer any questions, and we're really excited to pilot the program.
Such great information for parents. Susan Gawley, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Paul.
My pleasure. Coming up, we're heading to the Niagara Power Vista in Lewiston, where they're getting in gear for an annual family favorite event. Stay with us. Families will have an opportunity to explore the big vehicles that build, serve, and protect our community at the Niagara Power Vista's annual Touch a Truck and Family Safety Fair event, taking place on Saturday, June 13th. Here to tell us more about it is Teresa Martinez, Senior Manager of Community Affairs at the Niagara Power Vista. Welcome back to the show, Teresa.
Oh, thank you, Paul. It's great to be back.
Thanks for being with us. Now, you'll have such an amazing variety of vehicles here for the Touch a Truck event. What types of trucks will families have the opportunity to explore when they attend?
So we'll be displaying several NYPA vehicles from our fleet and safety equipment used on the Niagara Power project. Some of those include cranes and dump trucks and grounds equipment, anything we use here to operate at the power project. We also have the New York State Department of Transportation, the Niagara Frontier Transportation Agency, area police and fire companies, and a big feature is the United Materials will be bringing its cement mixers, the pink cement mixer, Pinky, who is designed to honor breast cancer survivors. And did you know that a portion from every yard of concrete is donated to the Susan G. Komen of Western New York?
Such a great way to support the foundation.
Absolutely. And they also have Sarge, which is another mixer that honors veterans.
Oh, wonderful. And I'm sure that the kids will have a great time getting to look at those trucks and get their hands on there and honk the horns and all that.
Yes, earplugs are recommended for this event, for sure. We also have our New York Canal System is bringing its model lock. It's a very popular interactive activity, and it's a great way to introduce safety to families in a fun and interactive way. There's really something for everyone here at this event.
It sure sounds like it. Now, you were mentioning some of the vehicles in your own fleet, so you're going to have a lot of your own equipment on display as well. Tell us a bit about what families will learn when they get up close to these vehicles.
Believe it or not, I learn as much as anyone on this day from our skilled trades. Our members of our IBEW 2104, we have our skilled trades operators on hand to be with the vehicles so they can teach families about what the vehicles can do and how they are used on the project.
Such a great way for the kids to get an idea of what goes on here at the Power Project and how this equipment works to produce power. Now, in addition to having the opportunity to explore all of the cool vehicles, you'll have some excellent safety demonstrations at the event as well. Talk to us a little bit about those.
Well, many of the area fire and police participants demonstrate their vehicles during the event. Upper Mountain will display its new ladder truck at this event. Hopefully it'll be ready for that. And they usually do demonstrations of the ladder truck going all the way up, coming all the way down. That is a hugely popular event. There's also, as you said, a lot of horn honking and sirens. Kids get behind the wheel. They can't wait to honk the horn. They can't wait to push the siren button. Kids get to climb in and see what it's like to be at the helm of these vehicles. We'll have police canine demonstration and car seat safety checks from North Tonawanda Police. Just drive up and get your car seat checked, and they'll give you some pointers on that. And our NYPA robotics team is coming and showing off its new robotics response custom truck and Gizmo, its robotic dog. And they'll also do some drone demonstrations as well.
Very cool STEM activities that the kids will be able to be part of. Now, where can listeners find more information about this year's Touch a Truck and Family Safety Fair?
Well, of course, you can call us here at the Power Vista at 716-286-6661, or you can go to our website at nypa.gov and just click on the Visitors tab.
Teresa Martinez, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul.
And that wraps up this episode of the Western New York Family Magazine podcast. For more great parenting information, pick up your copy of Western New York Family Magazine, available for free at all Wegmans locations, all Federal Meats locations, your public library, and at many of our advertisers. You can also read the magazine for free online at www.wnyfamilymagazine.com. I'd like to thank Teresa Martinez, John Mann, and Susan Gawley for joining us. And of course, thank you to you, our listeners. For the Western New York Family Magazine podcast, I'm Paul Klein. We hope you'll join us again next time. And until then, make every day a great day. The Western New York Family Magazine podcast is a production of Western New York Family Incorporated.